Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I have a story for you, okay? I was talking to my wife about a conversation that she had with a friend of hers about gold and silver, and how her friend was contesting that her stocks are doing well and that you cannot use gold or silver to go buy a loaf of bread. Well, to this friend, who's also a friend of mine, I say, can you go buy a loaf of bread with your stock purchases that you have on a piece of paper or on digits on a computer? No, you cannot. You first must take those stocks that you have, or the shares of the stocks that you have, sell them, and then once you sell them, the money has to hit your account, and then once the money hits your account, you can then go withdraw the money from the bank and or spend that money with the use of a debit card or a credit card. Same thing with gold and silver. You take your silver from wherever it is that you have safely stored it, then you go to a coin shop, you retrieve the fiat currency of your taste, depending on what country you're in, that you can go buy that bread with, and then go buy that bread. It's actually a little bit easier to go ahead and exchange your gold or silver for fiat so that you can then go and buy what you need than it is to convert a stock or a share of a stock into the fiat that you need to go to the store to buy that bread. Well, while my wife and I were talking about this, and I was trying to explain to my wife that there's no way that wages keep up with inflation, and that even if the stock market goes up a lot, what can that money really buy you, or that fiat currency really buy you? So only because the stocks that you have in the stock market are doing well, first of all, can you get to that money fast enough in the case of a market collapse? Let's say the market starts doing really bad, and can you get that shares out of there fast enough so that you can get the money out before it turns into nothing? Before I continue, ladies and gentlemen, I do need to say thank you very much to the sponsor of this video, Genesis Gold Group. In addition to that, let me remind you that Nutrient Survival, which in my opinion is the very best freeze-dried food company that there is, and of course the most nutrient dense as well, is having an awesome sale that ends today on Sunday. 25% off any build your own bundle. In addition to that, it's not over yet. Oupes has extended their solar generator sale until the 24th of September. So go check them out because they have the very best prices that you're going to find. And in addition to that, you'll be able to use my discount code to get an additional 10% off what they are offering, which in my opinion are the best prices in the industry. Some people will have to learn a hard lesson, ladies and gentlemen, and today I am here to show you why it is so important. In my opinion, I'm not a financial advisor. Do your own research, just like I did this morning, and I will be leaving you the links to everything that I have here so you can look at it for yourself. So please come back and revisit these links so you can convince yourself that what I'm telling you makes a lot of sense. Have you ever heard of the Chapwood Index? I hadn't heard of it until very early this morning. It's kind of like whenever I talk about this, like in depth with someone that I know, and in this case it was my wife, I come across something that actually shows me that, hey, this is a great tool to inform your community members. And the Chapwood Index, ladies and gentlemen, is something that was made up in order to check the real inflation rate of things that people really buy. So the government loves to play with the CPI, with the consumer price indices. And what they do is, for example, under the category of beef, if steak goes up really high in price in any given year, well, they replace the steak with the price of ground beef because it's still beef. And ground beef is a lot less than a pound of ribeye. So then they can say, whoa, steak is at a really good price. It hasn't really gone up much. It's only gone up from maybe $4.59 to $4.79. So it hasn't gone up that much, maybe 5%. When in reality, all of the other beefs, all of the other meats are going up a lot higher than ground beef is. So the government loves to play around with the CPI as we like to call it. But the Chapwood Index, what they did is a few years back, they got together and they compiled about 4,000 items that the average American uses on a daily basis. And I'm talking about like spread out, all right, throughout the entire country. Because different people in different parts of the country use different things, right? And then they took that 4,000 items and they compiled it into the 500 most used items. And here they are right here, just an example of a few. And as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, this list covers a whole bunch of things, a variety of things. Health insurance, measuring cups, a fillet, sweet peas, car maintenance, mortgage, a martini, sunglasses, personal training, bottled water, rent, airline ticket, a T-bone steak, not just ground beef, shampoo, workout clothes, laundry basket, ballet shoes, Netflix rental. And these are the things that the average American uses on a daily basis in no given order. Look, eggs, Bengay,
lunch, apples, underwear, culinary tray, milk, NyQuil, fabric softener, let me see, a boat rent tray, toaster, socks, cake, toes, vacation rental, Taco Bell.
A taco at Taco Bell. So they took 500 of the things that the average American uses on a daily basis the most. And then every 6 months, they go back and see how much was this taco at Taco Bell 6 months ago, and how much is it now? So how much has it increased? Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and hear a few words from the sponsor of this video, Genesis Gold Group. I'm not a financial advisor, but the folks at Genesis Gold Group specialize in helping those who want to diversify their excess wealth by converting their fiat currency retirement plans into a plan that is backed by real money. So if you're in a position where you are wondering what you can do in order to diversify or insulate your wealth against what I like to call the inferno of inflation, give Genesis Gold Group a call, and they can provide you with the information that you need in order to make an educated decision. Once again, thank you very much, Genesis Gold Group, for sponsoring this video. So the Chapwood Index, ladies and gentlemen, like I was saying, every 6 months they take the precise price of the same item quarter by quarter and calculate the increase or decrease in price. Then they develop a weighted index based on the price itself. These items include basic everyday things that Americans consume during the course of their lives. So let's go ahead and see what the actual percentages are and see if they even come close to what the government is telling us. Now, something that I forgot to mention, ladies and gentlemen, that they do this for the 50 largest cities in the nation, right? So the Chapwood Index, it says here, reflects the true cost of living increase in the United States. Updated and released twice a year, it reports the unadjusted actual cost and price fluctuation of the top 500 items on which Americans spend their after-tax dollars in the 50 largest cities in the nation. So you can come back to this and see if one of your cities is on here, but we'll go over the first 10, first starting with New York. And you can see that here in 2022, you all remember how they said that last year in 2022, inflation was like, I think they said around 9.1%. Well, ladies and gentlemen, in New York, it was around 15%, closer to 16 than 15. In Los Angeles, 15%. In Chicago, almost 16%. In Houston, 11%. In Philadelphia, almost 11%. Phoenix, 13%. San Antonio, almost 14%. San Diego, almost 16%. Dallas, almost 14%. And San Jose, 15.29%. None of these numbers, the closest one that came to 9.1, I believe was last year's number, was Philadelphia at 10.84%, ladies and gentlemen. And these are actual numbers, actual prices that people are paying. And they do this every 6 months and release this twice a year so that we can see the actual prices, ladies and gentlemen. So when the government tells you that inflation is settling down, that inflation is coming down, it is not, ladies and gentlemen. Ask yourselves a question if you live in New York. Did your pay go up 16% last year? Did it go up 16%? Because you see, this is the problem with the American dream. If you want to achieve the American dream, we are told you have to work hard. All right? You have to get up off the ground and work. Get up off your couch and work. Never give up. But if you're working and working and working, and for every one step that you take forward, the government pushes you backward 2 steps, you're never going to get ahead. And that's what inflation does, ladies and gentlemen. Now, let me show you how you can at least retain your purchasing power. And yes, for those of you that have guessed what I'm going to say gold and silver. But I'm going to prove it to you, ladies and gentlemen. I am going to prove to you using history. Today's exercise will be using the example of silver in the mid to long term. Does it retain your purchasing power? AP, silver and gold, they're just rocks that you can use as a paperweight. But really, are they? Or do they retain their purchasing power so that you don't have to work as many hours to buy the same stuff that you did just a few years back? And we're going to use one of my favorite examples, the price of gasoline. Ladies and gentlemen, if we go back to 1960, back when a quarter was a quarter, back when a quarter had money in it, because it had silver, 90% to be exact, we will see that the average price of gasoline was about 31 cents a gallon. So a little bit more than a quarter, or we can say 3 dimes, right? Or a little bit more than a quarter. But for this example, we will use a quarter because it actually works out very well using a quarter. Today, that gallon of gasoline is no longer 31 cents. Today, the average price of gasoline, according to AAA, is $3.87. Well, can you really buy a gallon of gasoline today with a quarter? Well, not with this quarter right here. Do I have a quarter? Yeah, this is just a regular clad quarter. This is one of those quarters that's got copper in it. You know, you can't buy one with this. You can buy one with quarters as long as you have enough that will add up to $3.87. But you can't buy a gallon of gasoline with a quarter today. Or even if we had 3 dimes today that are made of the same materials. You can't do that. If you take a quarter from 1960 or from 1964 and prior, if you still have one of those quarters, you can definitely buy more than a gallon of gasoline. So whereas in 1960 it cost you a little more than a quarter and a nickel, let's say, to buy a gallon of gasoline, today if you have one of those 90% silver quarters like you see right here, the 1932 to 1964 Washington quarter, you can take that quarter and trade it in at any coin shop near you for the spot price of $4.18, which is well above what you need to purchase a gallon of gasoline today. So we can see that the monetary value of the silver in that quarter from 1964 and prior could buy you a gallon of gas back in 1960 and can also buy you a gallon of gas today, 63 years later, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go ahead and use an example that is a little more recent. $1.50 for a gallon of gasoline in the year 2000, ladies and gentlemen. Now, those were the good old days. Remember those days? I can still remember all the way back to where gasoline was well below $1 per gallon, but let's not take it there. And let's go ahead and take a look and see at what the price of silver, not the silver quarter, we're just going to go to silver. Let's go see how many gallons of gasoline we could buy with 1 ounce of silver back in the year 2000. So here, ladies and gentlemen, we can see that in the year 2000, January of 2000, you can see right here that the price of silver, the spot price of silver, was $5.35. Well, if you remember, the price of gasoline averaged $1.51 per gallon. Now let's see how many gallons of gasoline we could buy with 1 ounce of silver back in the year 2000. So here is our handy dandy calculator. Let's go ahead and take $5.35 and divide it by $1.51, which was the average price of gasoline in the year 2000. In the year 2000, ladies and gentlemen, with 1 silver coin at spot price, you can purchase 3.54 gallons of gasoline. Let's remember that price, 3.54 gallons. If you remember that the price of gasoline on average in the United States is $3.87, then all we have to do is divide 2302 by $3.87. And ladies and gentlemen, today we can purchase almost 6 gallons of gasoline for 1 silver coin, which means that if in the year 2000 you purchased a silver coin, at which time could purchase you 3.54 gallons of gas, if you had saved your excess wealth in the year 2000 in the form of silver and brought it forward to today you could take that coin, turn it into a coin shop for $23, which is the spot price, and you can then in turn take that $23 and purchase just shy of 6 gallons of gasoline with that same silver coin, effectively bringing your purchasing power to the future, to the now, from the past. Ladies and gentlemen, again, I'm not a financial advisor, but doesn't this make sense? Doesn't it make sense that when you put fiat currency into real money, gold or silver, that your purchasing power, not only does it remain intact from what you could purchase back then to what you can purchase today, but in some instances, like what we're experiencing today with the inflation, that you're actually gaining a little more purchasing power. All you're doing, ladies and gentlemen, is bringing your labor forward to the now from the past by putting your excess wealth in precious metals. I hope that this makes sense. Some people are going to say, well, AP, what if I would have bought gold and silver back in 2011 when silver was $48 an ounce and now it's still $23 an ounce? Ladies and gentlemen, to that, the solution, in my opinion, is what's called dollar cost averaging. I am still sitting on some silver that was $35, $40 an ounce from when I first started buying silver years ago. I actually started buying it when it was about $35, $40 an ounce. I'm still sitting on that silver. But throughout the years, I've purchased silver at 12. I've purchased silver at 18. I've purchased silver at 29. I've purchased silver at 15. Dollar cost averaging, ladies and gentlemen, in the long term, in my opinion, works out just fine. And it ends up protecting your purchasing power and not allowing those people that control the printing presses to steal from you your most important asset, which is your time, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that you have a great day, ladies and gentlemen. I really hope that you got something out of this. Again, if you are in the market for a solar generator or freeze-dried foods, take a look at the links that I left for those because they're having great sales right now. And I want to thank very much one of our staunchest supporters of this channel, Genesis Gold Group. So thank you again for sponsoring this video. Have a great day. God bless every one of you. God bless America. I'm Alaska Prepper. I'm out.